Hi boys and girls, welcome to Social Studies. This week in Social Studies we're learning about then and now. So we're talking about things that are true and happen right now and also things that happened in the past. And we're going to talk about them, look at them, and kind of compare them. And so today we have an interesting book called Transportation, Past and Present. So obviously past is what we're talking about then, and then present means now. And the word transportation means the way that we get around. So today, several forms of transportation would be car, plane, train, bus, things like that, the way that we get around every day. And the one that we use the most today is probably car. That's what kind of moves us around and carries us around the most. But there's different kind of transportation, and there was in the past as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at transportation, past and present. Transportation through history. Transportation is how people get around. It is always changing. So here in this picture we have a boy and a girl, and here's one form of transportation, bicycles. That moves you around, so that is transportation. In the past, people rode horses to travel. They also rode in wagons pulled by horses. Wow, look at this picture. Here's a family, big family. How many kids are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. At least 8. Maybe there's some aunts over here too with mom. But back then, families were a lot bigger than today, and 8 kids was pretty common. A lot of people had 8 children, 8, 9, 10 children, especially if they're on a farm so that everybody could work. And believe it or not, they actually rode around on horses, or as we see here, being pulled on a wagon by a horse. Would you want to go around town on a horse or on this wagon? What do you think? Today, some people still ride horses, but most people get around in cars. How else do people get around today? So here's a car. It's a nice car. It looks like a convertible. And that's mostly the way that we get around. That's our most common form of transportation. How else do people get around? We talked about buses, also boats sometimes. Maybe not a lot of boats right around here, but there are boats. What else do we have actually in Fort Worth? There's trains, and then there's, of course, airplanes that leave from the airports around here. So there are different ways that people get around. People traveled on the water in boats. Oars or sails moved the boats along. So this is something they had in the past, then and also now. But the boats were definitely different. I see here in this boat there was sails that moved the boats around. So how would these sails push the boat around? We know the sails picked up the wind, and the bigger and the more sails they had, the more wind they could pick up, and it would push them around. People still use oars and sails, but today many boats have motors. Where can you travel on a boat? In a lake. In a lake you would see a lot of people with boats, and this one goes really fast so people can just sit back and the motor takes them around quickly. Trains were once the fastest way to travel. Trains also carried goods from place to place. So there are trains today, and there were trains back then. Do you think this is a train from now or then in the past? What do you think? Yeah, it looks like a train from the past, from then, not now. But that's a really cool train. And there are some trains locally. The TRE is a train that goes to Dallas from Fort Worth, and also there's a Tarantula train that goes from the Stockyards to Grapevine, Texas. Trains still carry goods and people. They're even faster today. Wow, look at this train. It looks super fast. And the question here is, what kind of goods can a train carry? What kind of goods do you think? Food, maybe TVs, furniture, a lot of different things can be carried on trains. First, airplanes were small. Today, airplanes hold hundreds of people. Airplanes travel to faraway places quickly. Wow, look at this airplane. This is a double-decker airplane. So this is, I see one row of windows here, and then a second row on top of windows. Wow, that's a huge, huge plane. Really cool. Have you been on a plane? Walking has always been a great way to get around. What is your favorite way to travel? Of course, we walk every day, but what is your favorite way to travel? Is it a boat? Is it a car? If you've been on a plane, was that the most interesting and fun way that you've gotten around? What is your favorite way? All right, so here, boys and girls, here's a chart. We're just going to go over some of the ways that we talked about people getting around then and now. And so I see here is a category then and today. So some ways to compare: people rode horses then, not today. Today people drive cars. And then people paddled boats. And today boats have motors. So you can find boats that you paddle around, but mostly there's motors on boats. And then finally, trains were the fastest way to travel. There are still trains, but they're not the fastest. Now, today, airplanes are faster. All right, boys and girls, thank you for exploring transportation then and now with me. Have a great day.